guys, my name's Hallie. I'm one of the trainers here at the Aquarium of Niagara, and I'm joined here with my coworker, Kristen.
Hi guys, how's it going?
So today what we're going to talk about is how we dive in all of our exhibits here at the aquarium. So behind us we actually have our Penguin Coast exhibit. So they are about to hop in and do a dive right now. So Kristen, could you tell us just a little bit about the diving process here?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, we actually have Rachel, one of our marine mammal trainers, who is inside the penguin exhibit right now, starting a dive. And all of us zoological staff, so anyone who is part of the team that takes care of the marine mammals, all the fish, invertebrates, and birds, we do have to be scuba diving certified. That is part of our requirements here to get a job at the Aquarium of Niagara. And so we all go through a really long process in order to be comfortable and to be trained to scuba dive in these different exhibits. So you can see Rachel scrubbing right now. We do a lot of different cleaning when we're in these exhibits just to make sure all the habitats are as clean as possible for all of our animals.
All right, Kristen, so we do see that there is one diver that's in our exhibit right now, and then we have two other people who are, kind of watching. What exactly are they doing?
Yeah, so right now we have Eric, who's all geared up there. He is our standby diver, and what that means is that he's there in case there were ever to be an emergency. So God forbid if Rachel in the water there had some sort of medical emergency, Eric is there all geared up, ready to hop in and assist if needed. And then Dan, the other person who is in our penguin exhibit there with the clipboard, he is our DPIC, which stands for Designated Person in Charge. So he's essentially running the dive. He's watching everything, making sure everything's going smoothly, and ready to help out wherever it might be needed.
Cool, so obviously we're here in our Penguin Coast exhibit today. And what other exhibits do we dive here at the aquarium?
Yeah, so Penguin Coast is a really important one. However, we also dive in our main pool exhibit with our sea lions, and then we can also dive in our shark exhibit. So that's a pretty fun one. There's lots of different animals in there that we have to take precautions with, but we do get in there and make sure that all of the decor, all of the walls, everything like that is scrubbed down and nice and clean for the animals.
Absolutely. So just one little trivia fact here we have is SCUBA it actually stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. So in case anyone was wondering what that stands for, that's a little piece of trivia for the day.
Awesome.
We do actually have a question, and that's asking how much fish does a penguin eat in a day?
Ooh, that is a great question. So Kristen?
So it can range. Every animal is going to be a little bit different. Personally, we work with the marine mammals, so we can speak a little bit better on how much they eat per day. But I know the penguins can range anywhere from a couple pounds, usually 2 pounds or so, maybe up to about 5 pounds or 7 pounds. Even when these guys go through what's called a catastrophic molt, they actually lose all of their feathers, and they have to eat a lot more fish to really make sure that they stay nice and warm. So I know during that time they're going to have a lot more fish intake, but it really is very individual based, just like our sea lions. They're all going to eat different amounts based on their size, their activity level, their weight, their age, if it's breeding season. So all these different things come into play, so it's really very individual per animal.
And we just saw Desi, who was swimming right by here, right at the window. During the dive, sometimes the penguins are a little bit more active. Sometimes they will, be zipping around in the water, swimming around. A lot of times they just stay, kind of like most of them are doing right now. They're just kind of staying in their little areas up there on land.
Yeah, actually diving our exhibits is a great way to enrich our animals too. So we want to ensure that our animals are experiencing new and different things every single day, which is a great reason we do enrichment. We often have lots of toys or enrichment in with our animals, but even us just getting in and scuba diving like this is a form of enrichment. It's something different. It's something that they don't see every day, that they're not used to encountering on a day-to-day basis. So sometimes we'll see our penguins get a little bit curious and come over to the scuba diver, maybe check out what they're doing, check out what they've got going on with brush they're using or whatever it might be. So it's a lot of fun to see these guys get curious when we're in the water.
So again, we do have Rachel. She's in there. She's scrubbing away. We actually do have a nice skylight up there in our exhibit. So what happens when there's a lot of sun that comes in? Algae grows a little bit quicker. So that's why we definitely have to keep up on diving in this exhibit to make sure it stays nice and clean for these guys.
So Cheryl has a question, and that is how often do divers have to clean?
Oh, great question.
So it totally depends. So in our penguin exhibit here, we normally do about twice a week. With our main pool, we'll do usually about twice a month or so, and then same with our shark exhibit, we usually do about twice a month. Hi, Rachel.
So there's a question about the water temperature. You can see they're wearing wetsuits. So how cold is that water?
Yeah, the water in Penguin Coast is about 62 degrees. That might not sound too cold. A lot of people are like, oh, that's not too bad. But when you think about your pool at home that you get in to cool off, it's usually about 80 degrees. So 62 degree water is actually pretty chilly. So Rachel has her wetsuit on. You'll also notice that she has booties on her feet and that hood over her head. And that's to make sure that everything stays nice and warm, including her hands. So it's a lot of hard work, and we definitely get cold after being in the water for a while.
Yes, we do.
But that's why we've got all this nice gear to keep us nice and warm. And make sure, of course, our exhibit is clean for our animals. And this is actually our coldest exhibit too. So we do dive in main pool, as we were talking about earlier, which is where our sea lions are. And that's usually about mid-60s too, so maybe just a few degrees warmer than Penguin Coast. And then the warmest, which is personally my favorite to dive, is our shark exhibit, because it's usually in the low 70s or so.
So a very common question, and one that just came up from Jackson, is will we have any baby penguins in the future?
It's possible. We do have a couple breeding pairs here at the aquarium, so it definitely is possible. You know, we don't know anything for sure, but
yeah. These penguins are actually really cool because they're part of a species survival plan. So Humboldt penguins are actually one of the threatened species. So we're really lucky to now be accredited by AZA, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and one of our main purposes is to hopefully get some breeding pairs of penguins and maybe bring in some chicks. So fingers crossed, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, we do want to thank you guys very much for joining us here today on our Facebook Live. We do want to encourage you as well to head on to our website at aquariumofniagara.org. There are a lot of activities online there. But thank you again very much for following us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye guys, thank you.